Hello and welcome, Jože Ramuta, to the Slovenian Australian channel. How are you going?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, great. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Like, where were you born?
I was born in it's a small village called Osojnik in Bela Krajina, which is part of Slovenia. I was born in 1943, and I attended local primary school, and then I did the trade school and mechanical technology course before I escaped into Italy. I escaped in 1963.
I was just going to ask you, what was it like growing up in Slovenia in those days?
It wasn't easy, but I was young then. I depended more on my parents, and it wasn't easy. It was quite a bit of pressure from authorities, from everyone.
So when did you leave Slovenia?
I left Slovenia in May 1963, and I did that illegally. I crossed the Italian border with my friend, and then we traveled because we knew that if Italians caught us, they would send us back to Yugoslavia.
So why did you decide to leave?
I just didn't see a future in Slovenia for myself. I just couldn't see the ends. Couldn't make my ends from month to month when I was young.
When did you arrive in Australia?
I arrived in Australia in 1963, March 1963. Yeah. First I arrived to Sydney by boat from Bremerhaven in Germany. It was a 40-day journey, and then from Sydney it took another day to get to Melbourne.
So you went from Sydney to Melbourne, and you've lived in Victoria for most of your life here?
Yeah, I spent all my life in Geelong.
In Geelong?
Yeah, I love Geelong.
What kind of work did you do in Geelong?
In Geelong I was doing mostly fitting and turning. I'm a fitter and turner back there. I did tool making. I was also on the maintenance of abattoirs. I had my own grocery store for a little while.
It's a very eventful life.
Yeah, I did a bit of everything. Yeah.
So you still live in Geelong now?
I still live in Geelong, yeah.
And how many people are there in your family?
At the moment, I live on my own. I've been divorced for the last 22 years. My son lives in nearby Turkey. He's married. He got 3 children. And my daughter lives in Geelong as well. She's got her own property.
Now, when was the last time you visited Slovenia?
That was in last year in June, July.
And what did you think? How did you think of Slovenia?
It's improved. There's still a lot of improvements to be. I got a little bit upset over the way the politicians are running the country. I would like to see politicians more honest, people in position more honest, and I would like to see the hard-working people more rewarded for what they're doing. Except what I see, pensioners are losing their pension, which doesn't happen anywhere in the world. So really, for a small country like Slovenia, I think that Slovenia could be a much better country to live in.
Now, Jože, I believe you've written a book.
Yeah, I did. I've written a book I started writing about 30 years ago, and I dropped it for about 10 years, 15 years, and then I started again.
Now, this book is an autobiography?
This book, it's called neznano. Yeah, neznano, which translates in English, Jože into unknown. It is about, mainly about me, but like about the third person. I'm writing about someone else, but I'm using my name. All other names are not real names. With friend, we crossed the Italian border in Gorizia, and then we traveled across Italy, northern Italy, to Milano, Ventimiglia, then Ventimiglia we crossed the French border, and then from there we traveled by train to Paris. My father had a friend in Paris, so we got a bit of help from him. And then we traveled to German border and crossed the German border illegally again. And from there by train to Stuttgart. After 2 days we went to camp for displaced persons in Nuremberg, actually Zinder by Nuremberg. And I was there for like 5 weeks, going through all these questions and interrogations and everything. It was an open camp. You could come in without it. It wasn't like this refugees camp here. Nothing like that.
Did you have a favourite chapter that you wanted to write? Was there any particular section of the book that you enjoyed more writing than others?
Yeah, I think crossing a border was quite exceptional. And then another favorite chapter was arriving into Australia, looking for a contact that I was introduced by my friend from Germany. I never met that contact. I just knew that he was bald and he's going to write for me in Melbourne port. So I was looking for a bald-headed guy. A lot of them had their hats on, so obviously I didn't see him.
What was the hardest part about writing the book?
The hardest part was probably patience. Patience, and it was a hard part to get into it, and then I had a bit of a pause, and then got back again, and you have to be relaxed to do that. A bit of a imagination and things like that.
Why do you feel you had to write this book?
That was mainly because I wanted to share a story with the younger generation. I feel that the younger generation doesn't really understand the plight of the and the start of the generation that was like the original migrants who had to escape to get here. I wasn't going to escape. If they gave me a passport, I would have got the passport, but since they didn't, so I escaped. And I also wanted to show my grandchildren how it all started here in Australia. I was the only Ramuta when I came into this country. Now when we get together more than 2,000. So I tease them sometimes. I'm a patriot. They have to listen to me. Sometimes.
So did you remember a lot of the detail, or some things you've forgotten, but during writing the process it came back to you?
Yes, I did. Many things.
Many things?
Yeah.
So were there other challenges you had into writing this book? You said you started, what, 30 years ago, was it?
Yeah, I started 30 years ago, and then in 1990 I had about 110 pages. I done it in typewriter. It took some time, and I took it to Slovenian Australian Jože Ramuta in 1990, hoping that they're going to help me publish. They have proofread, and they send me a letter that it's readable and it's interesting. But they said it was short. They said continue writing. Then in early 90s, 91, my marriage came to an end, and then I lost all interest. I just threw it in the corner, and I didn't touch for about 15 years. So then I was prompted by some friends. They said, "How's the story going?" I didn't do anymore. So they introduced me to some people, and I started writing again, and I got encouraged in doing it. And then I found interest in it. Then I met this lady from the United States, and she helped me a lot in writing, putting it together into manuscript, and so we did quite a bit together. And so that's the reason it's done today.
Is there a procedure that sort of needs to be taken to write such a book? You know, is there do you write an outline, or do you write a story, or do you write certain hours of the day, or you said before it needs to be calm and peace?
Yeah, you have to be calm, but my best time was in the evenings. My best time was in the evening, or if it's raining outside, then I'll sit down and I'll write the story. Yeah.
So, how did you come up with the title of the book?
Oh, it was a number of titles, and then I thought, yeah, what for neznano, because I didn't know where I was going. I went like a blind chook, they say, you know. I left home. I knew that I'm going to the to Italian border, and after that we just thought, well, what happens, happens. So we just kept going, and when we came into Nice in France, my friend knew a little bit of German. Interpol policemen, they knew a little bit of German, so they gave us permission to go to Paris. That was the only legal thing that we did in that journey, from Nice to Paris.
Now, your book is written in Slovenian,
yeah,
and I think you've said that it's going to be translated into English as well?
It has already been translated.
It has already been.
And it's going to go probably next week or later into editing, proofreading.
And why do you think it was necessary to translate into English?
This is mainly because the second generation, also although they speak limited Slovenian and they can read, they wouldn't understand. They're much more, they're more at ease with English. And then I've got grandchildren, and I'm sure they will never know Slovenian. And I would really like them to understand what was where our family started and how it started.
Can you tell us a little bit about your cover artwork? Who designed the work, and why did you...
This artwork was the photo. That was actually, right there in the corner is a house that I was, right here in the corner. It's a house, it's still a house where I was, where I grew up.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't born in that house. Then here is a little, it's a road, which stands for Port Neznano. That was the road I took. And it's a beautiful view from up here. So the photo was taken by my friend Shirley, who's from the United States. And she done a lot of work for me, and she did the artwork. Then on the back, it's a house, which I left. That's here.
Is that your house?
Yeah, in Slovenia.
Okay. That's nice. That's great.
Yeah, it still stands. Yeah.
It's still standing?
Yeah, no one lives in it, but still stands.
Ah.
I visited on my last trip.
So what does your children and grandchildren think about your book?
Well, my children are they're proud. They were showing to no Slovenian, to English-speaking people that my dad wrote a book. And he's going to do it in English. It's got to go in English.
So where can people buy your book?
Yeah, people buy a book. I still got a few to sell to cover my expenses, but that's not important. I just wanted to share my story with
So if people got in touch with Slovenian Club Geelong?
Yeah, mostly through the clubs.
Through the clubs.
I'm not a very good salesman, so for me, if someone doesn't show interest, I'm not going to pressurize them to buy. Somebody. And a lot of people ring me up and they buy by telephone.
Okay. Do you have any last thoughts about this book?
Yeah, I just hope that people would read it, and I hope that they're going to recall their journeys into unknown, because a lot of them do. There are people that come into this country before I did, and they have more fascinating story than this. They had to, when they crossed the border, they actually had to avoid not to being shot at, which I didn't have that worry. If I was caught, I was caught. And I think that a lot of people will recall their own journey. Just recently, I was approached by a man in Geelong, and I thought first he said, "You know that book I bought of you?" I said, "Yeah," and I thought he's gonna say, "Not much good." Then he said, "I read it, and I recall every step he made because he went the same way. He went to Paris, well, exactly the same journey he did."
Jože Ramuta, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.